Good afternoon and welcome to the commencement ceremony for VCU School of Medicine class of 2018. I'm Dr. Chris Wolleben, Associate Dean for Student Affairs at VCU School of Medicine, and at this time, would you please turn your attention to the American flag for the playing of the national anthem. It's my distinct pleasure and privilege to introduce the Dean of the School of Medicine, the Honorable Peter F. Buckley.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. You are incredibly welcome. I was going to ask, hands up, who's ever been at a hooding event, but I know all of you 216 have not. This is your first hooding event. But amongst relatives and friends, hands up those of you that have been at an event like this before. Okay, a good number. Those of you that have not, you will greatly enjoy this. And those of you that have been, you will come out of here saying this is the best hooding event you've ever been at. I also wanted to make it clear that while this is a time-honored, solemn event, solemn does not mean no fun. And so I was going to encourage you to clap, but I see you've already got that down pat already. Let me begin by introducing to you our platform dignitaries. Let me just do this in sequence. On the front row to our far left is Dr. Chris Willeben, and Chris is Associate Dean for Student Affairs, does an amazing job. I say that once a year in public. Dr. Claire Pomeroy, you will hear from shortly. We're incredibly privileged to have Claire as our hooding speaker. Dr. Susan DeGiovanni is Senior Associate Dean for Medical Education and Student Affairs. We're extremely privileged to have the CEO of our hospital and health and outpatient clinic, Ms. Deborah Davis. Dr. Michael Ryan beside is Assistant Dean for Clinical Medical Education. Ms. Leila Bridiger is Assistant Dean for Curriculum. Ms. Pemra Seaton is Assistant Dean for Student Affairs and Financial Aid. Mr. Darrell Griffith is Senior Associate Dean for Finance and Administration. He's the money man. Beside Darrell is Dr. Betsy Ripley, who's Interim Senior Associate Dean for Faculty Affairs. And then at the end is Ms. Dr. Terry Carter, who's Associate Dean for Professional Instruction and Faculty Development. One row down. At the back row, we'll move over this side. At the back row is Mr. Tom Manas, which is Associate Dean for Development. He's the man who wants money. Beside him is Dr. Sally Santon, who's Senior Associate Dean for Assessment, Evaluation, and Scholarship. Beside Sally is Dr. Robin Hempel, who's Chief Quality and Safety Officer for VCU Health. Beside Sally is Dr. Brian Aboff, who's Associate Dean and Director of Graduate Medical Education. Beside Brian is Craig Scheifus, who's Associate Dean for Medical Education at our Inova campus in Fairfax. Beside Craig is Greg Trimble, who's Assistant Dean for Faculty Development at the Inova campus. And beside him in the blue is Dr. Michael Donnenberg, who's Senior Associate Dean for Research and Research Training, and he will be hooding our MD, PhD students. Beside Michael is Dr. Samantha Brewery, who's Assistant Dean for Student Affairs at the Inova campus and also hooder for the Inova campus. Beside Samantha is Dr. Alicia Freedy, who is Assistant Dean for Curriculum at the Inova campus and hooder also for the Inova campus. And then beside is Dr. Raoul Anand, who's Associate Professor and Director of General Surgery Residency Program and Honorary Hooder of the class of 2018. And joined by him in that distinction chosen by the class is Dr. Mark Ryan, Assistant Professor, Medical Director for the 12 CRP program and also Honorary Hooder. Would you please give a round of applause for this extraordinary group of people? So out here are some other of our brilliant faculty, and let me just call them out. You saw the class come in. They were led by Dr. Michelle Whitehurst-Cook, Associate Dean for Admissions, Dr. Diane Biscobin, Assistant Dean for Medical Education, Dr. Stephen Grossman, Associate Professor and Director of Medical Student Programs in Family Medicine is with us, and Dr. Enrique Gersten is here today. He's Emeritus Professor And when someone is emeritus, they've been around a long time. So hold that thought. And he's co-director of the Paleopathology and Research Lab. Now wait till you hear this. Dr. Gersten graduated from this medical school 60 years and 1 day. So please give him a round of congratulations. We also have faculty marshals, Dr. Richard Krieg, who's professor of anatomy and neurobiology, and Dr. Melissa McGreen-Creer, who's assistant professor in anatomy and biology. So thank you. In addition, we are extremely pleased to be joined by several other dignitaries that are on the sides, and that is Mr. Charles and Ginny Crone from the Board of Trustees of our Medical College of Virginia Foundation, Ms. Rebecca Perdue, Mr. Wyatt Beasley, and also Dr. Richard Clary, all Board of Trustees. And we know, of course, that you as family and relatives helped get our class over the line to this great day to become doctors, but the other people that helped get them over the line is an extraordinary group of faculty who are right over here. So please give them a great round of applause. And finally, everybody has a boss, and my boss is sitting right over there. It's my wife, Leonie. Thank you so much for everything you do. I think we've introduced everybody, Susan. Okay. Dr. Giovanni.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome the graduates, the family and friends of our graduates, our faculty and our guests. It's truly a glorious occasion where we're celebrating both an end and a new beginning. I want to begin today's festivities with a quote from one of my favorite American authors, Ralph Waldo Emerson. And in this quote, it's my wish for all of you, the graduates. You've been my kids for 4 years. Some of you who've been MD PhDs, it's been longer than that. So this is the quote. This is my wish for you. Comfort on difficult days, smiles when sadness intrudes, rainbows to follow clouds, laughter to kiss your lips, sunsets to warm your hearts, hugs when spirits sag, beauty for your eyes to see, friendships to brighten your being, faith so you can believe, confidence for when you doubt, courage to know yourself, patience to accept truth, and love to complete your life. Go forth and have wonderful careers, and please don't forget us here at VCU, because we have loved you the last 4 years. Sorry about that. Got so emotional I forgot. Well, actually, Dr. Buckley went out of order, so I'm going to blame him. It's not the thing to blame your boss, though. All right. School of Medicine is proud to present our students who have completed their requirements in our combined MD-PhD program. Would the following students please rise? Asim Alam, Matthew Lewis Bear, Devin Ross Cash, Philip Reed Wills McDonough III, Jeremy Allen Meyer, and Justin Robert Sperlazza. Asim Alam will receive his PhD in biochemistry. His advisor was Dr. Ross Mickelson. Matthew Lewis Bear will receive his PhD in neuroscience. His advisor was Dr. Raymond Colello. Devin Ross Cash will receive his PhD in microbiology and immunology. His advisor was Dr. Cynthia Cornelison. Philip Reed Wills McDonough III, it sounds so great, I love that, will receive his PhD in Clinical and Translational Sciences, Cancer and Molecular Medicine. His advisor was Dr. Jamal Zweit. Jeremy Allen Meyer will receive his PhD in Clinical and Translational Sciences, Cancer and Molecular Medicine. His advisor was Dr. Andrew C. Launer. And Justin Robert Sperlazza will receive his PhD in Clinical Translational Sciences, Cancer and Molecular Medicine. His advisor was Dr. Gordon C. Ginder. Will you please give these students a round of applause? It's also my pleasure to announce the recipient of the A.D. Williams Scholarship. This award is given to the student who achieved the highest cumulative GPA during the M3 year for the class of 2018. For you who don't know, the M3 year is the year where the students go through all of their clerkships. They are going through psychiatry and neurology and internal medicine and surgery and OBGYN, et cetera. And this is one of the hardest years of medical school. And we had many students who did very well during their third year. But would Rocky Melvani please come to the stage? Rocky received the highest GPA during her M3 year. This is a special moment for me because I interviewed Rocky when she was a high school student for the GMed program 9 years ago. I also want to present the Dean's Award for Outstanding Academic Achievement. This recipient of this year's Dean's Award for Outstanding Academic Achievement for the class of 2018 is given to the student who achieved the highest cumulative GPA during all 4 years of medical school. Would Amaya Atul Chamble please come forward to receive your award? And now I get to turn the program back over to Dr. Buckley.
So, we're immensely pleased and privileged to have today's speaker. And I mentioned earlier Dr. Claire Pomeroy, who's president of the Albert and Mary Lasker Foundation. And that is really the foundation that oversees and promotes basic and translational research in the US. And it's really a beacon and a public leader in fostering treatment and prevention of disease, as well as public education and research advocacy. There's nobody more better equipped by credentials as well as style than Dr. Pomeroy to lead this incredibly distinguished foundation. Dr. Pomeroy is herself an internationally renowned scientist. She's an expert in infectious diseases and has been a long-time advocate for patients with chronic diseases, particularly with HIV and AIDS, and a great passionate advocate for public health. She is in her own right an accomplished scientific leader, with having published more than 100 articles and 3 scientific books. She, as you would expect from a distinguished career, serves on the board of many institutions. I'll mention just some. She's on the board of directors of the Association of the Academic Health Centers. She's immediate past chair of the Council of Deans of the American Association of the Association of American Medical Colleges. She's co-chair of the Blue Ridge Academic Health Group. She's on the board of trustees for Morehouse School of Medicine, and she was recently appointed also serving on the National Institute of Health Advisory Committee on Research on Female Health, and she's also a member of the VA Academic Affiliations Council, and she was elected and inducted into the National Academy of Medicine in 2011. Claire began her career at University of Michigan, where she did both her bachelor and her medical degree, and then went on to complete residency and fellowship training in internal medicine and infectious diseases at University of Minnesota. If that wasn't enough, she's also earned an MBA from the University of Kentucky, and she's held prominent faculty positions at University of Kentucky, at University of California, University of Minnesota, and most latterly at University of California in the role originally as Executive Vice Dean, and in 2005 until her current appointment was Vice Chancellor and Dean of their medical school. Beyond these extraordinary credentials, Claire is an individual of impeccable integrity. She is a remarkable human being, and I feel incredibly privileged to both present her to you today, as well as to call her a friend, a mentor, and a role model. You are in for an amazing speech. Claire, thank you so much.
Graduates, today is your day of celebration. Today, your hard work culminates in the great honor of receiving your MD degree. Today, your family, your friends, your community celebrate you, your dedication, and your successes. Because today, you officially join the most noble of professions, medicine. You will now dedicate your life to improving health and serving others. Congratulations. By virtue of the credential you now hold, people will turn to you at their most vulnerable moments. They will share with you, as with no other, the intimate details of their bodies, their darkest fears, and their dearest hopes for the future. They will turn to you with the trust that you will discover new knowledge, new medical insights, new cures. They will literally trust you with their lives. This trust is a gift and an honor. And always remember that this honor comes with great obligations. The obligation to use your knowledge to benefit others. The obligation to put patients' needs above your own and to embrace the value of altruism. You are graduating at an exciting time for VCU, the 180th anniversary of the school, and, by the way, the 100th anniversary of the first woman to be enrolled in this school, so congratulations on that, too. And yet you are graduating in an unprecedented time of challenge for our nation and for our profession. You will practice medicine in an era of tremendous change as you rise to address the urgent need to reform our healthcare system and achieve our mission of creating a healthier world. It has been said that change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability. It comes through bold vision, continuous work, and unflagging dedication. This is what you are called upon to do. So, as you are hooded today, you are also accepting the charge to lead us in the change our country needs. Seize the moment. Lead the debate. Define a brighter future. Use the power of your education to redesign our care delivery system so that it is truly a health care system, not a sick care system. Use your knowledge to create a system that highlights prevention and wellness, a system that provides coordinated care, a system that is safe, accessible, affordable. Embrace your role as a societal leader, one who will work to correct the parts of the healthcare system that fail to serve the principles of social responsibility and social justice. The United States has led and achieved tremendous scientific breakthroughs in medical care, from vaccines to transplants to DNA sequencing to stem cell therapies and more. And VCU is an integral part of this. Your school has increased its federal research funding by 15% over just the last decade. All of these advances are extraordinary milestones of progress that we as health professionals and as a society can be proud of. But we cannot be proud of the fact that our country continues to experience unconscionable health inequities. Our healthcare system remains inaccessible and unaffordable for too many in our nation, and health outcomes fall far short of what a great nation like ours should achieve. The U.S. spends more per capita than any other country on health care, and yet has tragically disappointing outcomes. Despite spending almost twice as much per person compared to most other developed nations, we rank among the lowest in indicators ranging from infant mortality to life expectancy. You must proclaim that this is unacceptable. And our healthcare system today is characterized by shameful health disparities, disparities on the basis of race and ethnicity, geography, sexual orientation, immigration status, and socioeconomic class. Your health status should not be determined by the color of your skin or the zip code in which you live. You must proclaim that this is unacceptable. As Martin Luther King profoundly stated nearly 5 decades ago, of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane, and yet these disparities and inequalities are even more true today. Consider that Black men without a high school diploma live an average of 14 years less than white men with a college degree, that people with the highest income live 10 to 15 years longer than those at the bottom income levels. These are statistics, but their importance is in the lives of real people. Graduates, you learned about these realities during your years here at VCU in your classrooms, but more importantly in the faces and the stories of those you cared for. You know that the need is urgent, that the failure to act is measured in human suffering. The cost of inaction is no longer bearable. Robert Kennedy said, "Each time a man stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope." Graduates, together you can set in motion multiple ripples, and those ripples can come together as an uplifting wave to improve health for all. So how do you choose the ripples that you wish to make? As you embark on this journey, the answers will come, I believe, if you can discover and follow your own moral compass. And to do so, you must look inside yourself to identify your core values and use them as your guide. Our core values define who we are, what we prioritize, how we use the opportunities we are given. Our life experiences shape our core values, and those values in turn influence our life path. For most, our core values are rooted in our childhood. And for me, it began in a home that was full of abuse and fear. And by the time I was 14, the choice was clear: stay and risk my life, or leave and learn how to survive on my own. So I escaped, running into the dark night, just 14, scared, alone, uncertain where I would sleep or where I would get food to eat. And when a stranger gave me money to call a teen counseling center, I met people who found me a place to stay and helped me get into the foster care system. I lived in 4 foster homes. My first home was an emergency placement, and just as I was thinking maybe I could trust these people, it was time to go. From this, I learned about how hard it can be for the vulnerable and the abused to trust the system, even to caring. My second placement was with an African-American family who, though not quite knowing what to do with this blonde, blue-eyed white girl, opened up their home with kindness. I learned about race and equality and social justice. My third placement was also with an African-American family. They were welcoming, but I was still very wary. Then one day, I was doing the laundry, a load of whites, and I accidentally added a red sweatshirt. I was petrified. From my experiences growing up, I expected punishment and harsh words, and instead they said, "It's okay." And suddenly, we were united by a common color: pink. From them, I learned about compassion and forgiveness. And my final placement was with a couple who became foster parents just to take care of me. And to them, I will always be grateful. They saved my life. And I learned that by giving of ourselves, we can give life to others. I beat the odds. People ask me if my job today as president of the Lasker Foundation is hard, and I tell them that nothing is as hard as being a teenager alone, struggling to survive. In a lot of ways, I was lucky. I had foster parents who took care of me, teachers who believed in me. But I saw a lot of other kids who were not so lucky. Kids who were failed by the system. Kids whose society was willing to throw away. Kids who saw no future and therefore gave up hope. And from these children, I learned what really matters. From their teachings, my core values of caring for the vulnerable and fighting for social justice were born, and those core values have been my moral compass. Now, I went on to complete medical school, as you heard, my training in infectious disease, and I entered practice just as a new, unknown, and at that time terrifying disease called HIV/AIDS began claiming the lives of previously healthy gay men. And I saw young men who looked like old men, their bodies failing painfully and catastrophically from a devastating fatal illness. And I saw them experience heartbreaking rejections, even in death, from family, friends, and work colleagues who could not accept that they were gay. I found myself working in a society and in a healthcare system that too often rejected and stigmatized my patients. And as I established the first HIV/AIDS clinic at the Minneapolis VA, I fought for those men against unfair judgment and abandonment. I will always be grateful to the patients I worked with during those early years of the epidemic. They taught me that sometimes you have to push the system to do what is right, to work toward the greater good. They taught me what courage is, and that love and acceptance are ultimately more powerful than hate and stigma, that caring will always be stronger than rejection and discrimination. And through this work, I was given the opportunity to live my core values. So I share with you one piece of advice. Embrace your core values and understand what gives meaning to your life so that you can know the right way to give meaning to other people's lives. Starting the AIDS clinic, living in foster homes, surviving on the street as a teenager are the experiences that have led me to live every day of my life serving one primary purpose: helping the most vulnerable. For me, my core values are stirred to passion by the reminder that, as many have said, the greatness of society is defined by the way it treats its most vulnerable members. And patients will bring much more than health challenges to your clinic. They will bring the harsh realities of life, and their health issues will frequently represent symptoms of the disappointing inequalities in society. And this means that to care for them, you, must be community leaders who address social issues. Raise your voice to educate others what we know to be true, that health is determined only in small part, about 10%, by the care delivered in hospitals and clinics. That a much larger part is due to the social determinants, factors such as income, education, safe housing, job opportunities, access to healthy foods, all the circumstances in which we live, work, and play. And addressing these social determinants, these fundamental drivers of health status, is a big task. But it is one that your time here at VCU has prepared you to take on. This is your time to live your core values and attain the ultimate goal of making people's lives healthier and society stronger, kinder, and more just. You are the future of this country's well-being. And I am confident that each of you will help fill the world with hope, happiness, and health. I ask only that you heed Harriet Tubman's call to action, as she said, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world." Congratulations, class of 2018. Live your dream, change the world.
Was that spectacular or what? Claire, thank you. Thank you so much for lifting us up with your words. Unfortunately, there's one person that you put into absolute trepidation, and that is soon-to-be Dr. Christopher Trammell Cox, who's got to follow you and say uplifting words. And Trammell is the class president, and we know he'll do a great job. So come up and give us farewell to the class, Don.
Dr. Buckley, I thank you for that introduction because that was exactly how I felt. Dr. Pomeroy, on behalf of the class of 2018, I'd like to thank you for your dignified words. That is indeed a tough act to follow. Congratulations, doctors of the class of 2018. For those of you who are wondering who I am and why I'm up here, you're not alone. I'm wondering the same thing myself. It's truly an honor to be able to stand before you and to recap our entire experience through medical school over the next 45 minutes. Oh, 4 to 5 minutes. Well then, just set this here. Dr. Buckley's currently writing no more med student speakers, please. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for the support, encouragement, and love of so many others. And I'd like to take, while we're applauded countless times today, I'd like to take a brief moment to recognize some of those people that have helped us along this trail. First, to our professors, we thank you for your time, your commitment, and your knowledge. To the staff and support faculty of both VCU and the School of Medicine, we thank you for your skills and support along the way, even if you don't accommodate Apple products very well. To the deans and the curriculum office, administrators, and staff, we thank you for your countless hours, counseling, supporting, encouraging, and guiding us and our classmates. You truly go above and beyond your responsibilities and care for each of us, both in and out of the classroom. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for each of you and your support throughout our 4 years here. To our classmates, we thank those classes who have gone before us for their guidance and their friendship, and to the classes after us for allowing us to do the same. And to the members in our own class who stood with us every step of the way. Our friends, both old and new, we wouldn't be here if you hadn't helped us along the way as well, pulling us out of the hospital to refresh, or supportively listening to our struggles, more like gripes, and encouraging us in countless ways. Finally, to our family, we wouldn't be here if it weren't, I told myself I wasn't going to do this. We wouldn't be here without you, whether it was encouragement, support, counsel, or simply letting us practice our physical exam skills on you. You helped us along this journey, and at times you carried us. So I thank you. And to my wife, Jen, and my son, Jackson, I thank you. When I was accepted to When I was first accepted to medical school, my mentor sent me my first copy of First Aid Step 1. I was naive and I thanked him for it. In it was a note that states, "This experience will change your life. You will be a different yet better person when you are done. It is a calling, a responsibility, the privilege to heal another. You have now paid that price, and an average of $186,000 among the 200 of us. So it's an honor to stand before you and be one of the first to call you doctor. 4 years ago, or 20 years ago for the MD, PhD students, you entered the Egyptian building. You were told that roll call was mandatory and your spot would be given up if you weren't there for any reason. You waited anxiously just to make sure your name was called. You questioned maybe you weren't even supposed to be here. Maybe they made a mistake. They accepted the wrong Trammell Cox, because there are so many of you out there. Finally the time came and your name was read. You stood and you said, "Here." Little did you know that was the hardest question you'd answer over the next 4 years, and you'd never anxiously wait for anything ever again. Then the test came. You would arrive to the theater nervous, your palms are sweaty, knees weak, and your arms are heavy. If you're like me, you had vomit on your sweater. And Allison Sands would stand at front and casually state, "Refresh and begin." You finished your second year of medical school, And if you're anything like me, there's a void of memory from January 2016 to April 2016. It's like I took a board to the face then or something. Then you started your clinical years, and you didn't know you could wake up so early, stay up so late, and still not finish your internal medicine rounds. You learned what it's like to truly care for a patient. You lost patients you cared for. You made important decisions for patients and learned in ways you didn't know you could. Some would say that you worked so hard you forgot how to vacation. You made it to fourth year where that all changed and you learned how to do that again. You decided that if there was a way to get paid to be a fourth-year medical student, you were going to do that for life. Some could say that we started from the bottom and now we're here. Over the next few years, over the last 4 years, you've had experiences, emotions, and growth that come only through the refining furnace of medical school. You've struggled, whether through courses, clerkships, or your personal lives. You've lost friends or family members. You've sacrificed your time or activities that you enjoy. You've cried tears of frustration or anger. However, this was merely the price to pay for the privilege of becoming a physician. Because with all of these experiences, you gained more than you lost. You grew emotionally as you succeeded through countless struggles, physically as you stress it. Oh, that's me, sorry. Just projecting. Or is it displacing? I can't remember. You learned in the classroom, in the hallways, in the OR, and by the patient's bedside. You loved, you gained lifelong friends in our class, added new family members, and you loved the patients you cared for in the critical times of their lives. For one reason or another, you decided to become a doctor. For me, it was an accident in May of 1998, exactly 20 years ago. Now, class of 2018, I want you to close your eyes for a brief moment. No, seriously, close your eyes. Think back to those experiences you had that made you want to become a physician. When you first made that decision, there was an ideal doctor in your mind, one that was kind, compassionate, one that was caring, one that was knowledgeable, one that was competent, yet kind and considerate. Think of the ideal doctor you wanted to be that day in the Egyptian building 4 short years ago. Picture this doctor in their mind. Picture how they cared for their patients, how they took the time to understand and address their needs and concerns, how they embodied the ideals that Dr. Pomeroy just described. Picture how they treated everyone with which they interacted with respect. Now, open your eyes. You will walk out these doors today a physician, a doctor of medicine. You will be someone new. You have the chance to start anew wherever it may be, wherever you are headed. May you renew your resolve to be the best physician you can be, to be that ideal doctor you just pictured. May you take this time to refresh and begin, and become that doctor you have always dreamed of becoming, because as of today, you are officially a doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, Trammell. It's now my distinct privilege to recognize members of the graduating class of 2018 who have a parent or grandparent who are an alumnus of Virginia Commonwealth University School of Medicine. This year, we're honored to have 14 legacy graduates. Each of them received a medal at a ceremony earlier today prior to this ceremony. So when called, would the following candidates for a Doctor of Medicine degree please stand up along with her family members who graduated from VCU? Margaret Barton, whose grandfather, Dr. Henry Armistead Bullock, graduated from VCU in 1948. William Claiborne Bell, whose father, Dr. Joseph Beal, graduated from VCU in 1980, also completed his residency here in diagnostic radiology in 1984, and his grandfather, Dr. Harry C. Foster, graduated from here in 1947. Hannah Catherine Cockrell. Her father, Dr. Charles Cockrell, graduated from VCU in 1982 and completed his residency in diagnostic radiology here in 1986. Mackenzie Baker Grosso. Her grandfather, the late Dr. Harry C. Foster Jr., graduated from VCU in 1947, and he's being represented by his daughter, Mrs. Gail Foster Grosso. Charles Kramer. His father, Dr. Steve Kramer, graduated from VCU in 1978 and completed his residency training here at VCU in 1981 and is currently practicing as an emergency medicine physician here in Richmond. Allison Catherine Levitt. Her mother, Dr. Martha Corcoran, graduated from VCU in 1987. Ann Bird Mahoney. Her mother, Dr. Rhoda Mahoney, one of my favorite community pediatricians, finished her residency here in pediatrics in 1985. Elliott William Anthony Morgan. His father, Dr. Jim Morgan, graduated from VCU in 1978. Matthew White Nottingham. His mother, Dr. Carol Nottingham, graduated from VCU in 1981. Christopher Michael Purcell. His father, Dr. Christopher Purcell, graduated from VCU in 1990. Ron Rosenberg. His father, Dr. Neil Rosenberg, graduated from VCU in 1978. Sarah Catherine Rozicki. Her mother, Dr. Jane Hearn, graduated from VCU in 1998 and also completed her residency training in dermatology at VCU in 2002. John Lewis Tucker. His mother, Dr. Mary G. Tucker, graduated from VCU in 1986 and also completed her residency in ophthalmology at VCU in 1990. And finally, Virginia Winston Young. Her grandfather, the late Dr. Henry P. Royster, graduated from VCU in 1948 and also completed his residency training here in 1954. He's being represented by his wife, Mrs. Kathleen Ryland Royster. Dr. DiGiovanni.
Okay, this is the moment you've been waiting for. It's my great pleasure that I present to you the graduates from the class of 2018. Dr. Wolobin and Dr. Buckley will present each student with a school pin as they enter the stage. Students from the MCV campus will be hooded by Drs. Rahul Anand and Mark Ryan, who were selected by the graduating class to be their honorary hooders. Students from the Inova campus will be hooded by Drs. Samantha Bury and Alicia Freedy. And Dr. Michael Donnenberg will be hooding the MD PhD candidates. Mallory Arch Abney. Arfine Alam. Asim Alam. Justin Douglas Anderson. Marco J. Anshine. Matthew Lewis Bear. Marguerite Cassie Ballou. Molly May Banfield. Margaret Stewart Barton. Alexander Furdos Batten Chon. William Claiborne Beal. David Luis Boyer. Abraham Ronaldo Butler. Rhiannon Kate Byron. Devin Ross Cash. Rajbir Singh Chagar. Erica Wynn Chan. Vaishak Chandra. Madhura Vekas Chitnavas. Amaya Chumble. Aaron David Clampett. Rebecca Frances Patricia Climo. Bryce Neil Klinger. Hannah Catherine Cockrell. Garrett Stephen Cohen. Sophia Elizabeth Cohen. Joseph Howard Conduff III. Brittany Shea Cornfield. Christopher Trammell Cox. We have to clap more. We have a slowdown in the hooding here. Okay. Matthew Ward Cross. Emily Cotwall Dedener. Sydney Lynn Davis. Courtney Davis Dawson. Nicholas Allen Diebel. Stephanie Curran DeMasi. Catherine Ann DeTeresa. Komal Deer. Gilles Domo. Justin Taylor Farrell. Jordan Mary Frankovich. Landon James Funicello. Mary Kathleen Gallagher. Diamond Otarier Gathers. Louis Richard Gergudis. Eric Assay Gould. Emily Erin Ghosh. Mackenzie Baker Grasso. Hang up. Alexander Gross. Molly Grover. Kinsey Lee Hall. Stequita C. Hankton. Mariko Hansen. Deanna Sherelle Harris. Samantha Allison Hay. Amanda Woods Hayes. Christopher Neal Henry. Allison Annette Hinson. Callie Ann Lavin. Michael Uriah Horner. Becca May Hoffman. Tiffany Iris Sow.
Congratulations.
Kelly Eileen Hughes. Tanner McLean Hurley. Norris Wigg. Jamal Christopher Jackson. Moeen Jafari. Brandon Kenneth Jansen. Hun Ji. William Tyler Jones. David Stephen Cow. Sheila Kapoor. Sarah Marie Kashanian. Raza Abbas Kazmi. Cara Marie Keefe. Owen Daniel Kemp. Imran Ahmed Khatri. Zachary Patrick Kimball. Kevin Edward Kindler. Jacob Michael Kerkurowitz. Charles Franklin Kramer. Sylvan Dominic Kraus. Alex Stewart Kremers. Vidya Lakshmi Kumar. Robin Koshi Kyriakos. Olivia Lamb. Adam Douglas Lancy. Amori Demir Latham. Tiara Nicole Leek. Janet Sanyang Lee. Paul Jayuk Lee. Candace Levian. Allison Catherine Levitt. Ashley Blair Lipscomb. Peter Chi Chiang Lo. Micah Logan Mabe. Pooja Magavi. Parth Maheshwari. Ann Bird Mahoney. Mayor Malik. Bentley Howard Massey II. Philip Reed Wills McDonough III. Kelly Michelle McFarland. Zachary Daniel McCrae. Jeremy Allen Meyer. Rocky Melvani. Shannon Elizabeth Michelle Wynn. Daniel Clay Moranian. Suraj Kumar Mishra. Vanessa Monique Mitchell. Anahita Molayi. Angie Melissa Molina. Elliott Morgan. Jacqueline Parks Morin. Scott Andrew Muffley. Allison Wei-Yun Mui. Amanda Ruth Mullen. Sumya Murag. Wait a minute, Katrina. Oh. Katrina Hurst Nayak. Neha Sunil Nayak. Cheryl Page Nash. Thomas William Neal. Tin Tan Kan Nguyen. Timothy Allen Noby. Matthew White Nottingham. Alyssa Marie Olmsted. Chelsea Rochelle Olson. Ryan Bradley Estacio Ortizo. Trevor Dale Odafaro, the easiest name I ever wrote. Christina Maria Page. Laura Lee Peterson. Taylor Showalter Pence. Eric Lee Peterson. Shreya Potter. Christopher Lee Powell. Bhavini B. Prajapati. Catherine Ann Pumphrey. Christopher Michael Purcell. Grace Payan. Kenneth Dang Q. Sahar Tamima Rahim. Michael Ivan Rains. Laura Kathleen Reed. Okay. Joel Niles Reimer. Adam Alexander Robinson. Ron Rosenberg. Carl Thomas Ruddabush. Alexander Joseph Sahakian, excuse me. Alexander David Schlow. Nicholas Albert Schmedding. John Lewis Schmeitzel. Margaret Jane Schwartz. Danushka Senavratana. Sherna Sheth. Lauren Michelle Silva. Robert Michael Simmons, Jr. Sarah Elizabeth Simpson. Carolyn Song. Luke Clayton Spangler. Justin Robert Sperlazza. Jillian Elizabeth Stafflinger. Caitlin Lee Swaffer. Alfred John Reyes Tanglao. Alexandra T. Derek Allen Thaxton. Brittany Nicole Thompson. James Kieran Tompkinson. Trish Huang Tran. John Lewis Tucker. Congratulations. Linda P. Vian. Michelle V. Michelle Diane Wagner Marion. Nicholas Emmanuel Walter. Jennifer Lee Ware. Joseph Alexander Whitcomb. Joseph Alexander Wiener. Cameron Champion Wood. Margaret Grace Woodward. Virginia Young Watkins. Jesse Lloyd Zadell. Anthony Troy Zanger. Jenny Chinwen Ju. Blair Saunders Alace. Alexander Scott Benaz. Megna Botter. Hang on. Wait. I didn't call you yet. Oh, I did. Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry. I got like totally nervous. Taslima Chowdhury. Shivani Jayant Deer Pujari. Song Fu. Melissa Victoria Wynn. Nicole Ergens Moeller. The ladies from ANOVA are so huggy, they always slow us down. Benjamin Sun Kim. Christian Machado. Justin Allen Mauser. Solemnly T. Mesvin. Yamini Deepika Nandamuru. Alden Hemingway Newcomb. John Kim T. Nguyen. J. Hangun Park. J. Arvind Patel. Diane Dow Fan. Andrew Carl Rock. Ashley Emily Rogers. Sarah Catherine Rozicki. Tahora Sadugi. Shandi Shabazi. Larry Tong. Sakruti Vishal Udeshi. Claire Elise White. Jonathan Hayes Wills. And last, but definitely not least, Kauthar Youssef.
Cool. A few photos. Okay. It's good to get a breather after all that fun, wasn't it? Yeah? Okay, class of 2018, would you stand, please? So you need to look to your right or your left. Thank your families for they helping you get here. And then you need to turn around and thank all the faculty who helped you get here. Please turn around and thank the faculty. Okay, take a seat. My remarks over the next 90 minutes will be brief. So, it is definitely a historic day in your life. Dr. Claire Pomeroy already told us that it's a historic year for our school of 180 years, and the 100 years since the first female medical student graduated. And today's historic for your careers, but it's also historic in medicine because today, George Clooney came back into ER again after a brief hiatus. Bet you didn't know that. So, what else is important about today? Well, it's really important that you, each and every one of you, savor this moment, because the amount of work that you have put into getting here is simply awesome. And each and every one of us in this arena are incredibly proud of you. But you know what? It's only just begun. Because now you got to start all over and do it again, because now you've got to go into a residency. And yes, you're a doctor, but you now continue the journey of learning. And it's real important at this next stage that while you don't shed the mantle of being a medical student, you remember that you are still in training. And you use every opportunity to make yourself the best doctor you can do. How can you do that? Well, it turns out that your patients are probably the best teachers that you will have. And so while you've been taught to recognize signs, symptoms, and course of history and illness, now you have an opportunity to really get to know your patients even better, to learn their circumstances. As Claire Pomeroy pointed out to us, it's their social circumstances, it's the myriad of circumstances that brings them to you today, and not so much the illness that will define how they will get better under your care. And remember the experience of your patients. They will carry you a lifelong. In addition, don't just remember their experiences, but remember times when they congratulate you, when they reach out and thank you for your compassion and your kindness. They are good times, because there will be times during your career where things won't go so well, and you will doubt yourself as a doctor and ask, could I have done better, and did I fail this person? And so remember the many, many, many people that you will do great things for. And when you do great things, you haven't just qualified from this extraordinary medical school as a doctor. You have all the competencies of a doctor, but you also need to have all the compassion, all the empathy, because in many ways that's what you will be judged on. You will be judged on your ability to interact with people, your ability to heal people, not just by your knowledge, but by your words and by your actions. And your actions in society are also terribly important. Claire Pomeroy not only told us, but she's a living exemplar of one's values and professional and personal integrity. And you will occupy now a privileged role in society because you are a doctor. And so you must respect that role and respect others that you interact with, and always be true to that venerable opportunity that society presents you with. And as society values you, so you must value society. Become engaged, show up for life, do more than your day's work, give back to your community, be a leader in your community. And while we may say goodbye to many of you, 17% of you are staying with us for the next part of your training, but many of you will either stay in the Commonwealth or you will go all across America. So while we temporarily say goodbye to you, while you go on to the next stage of your career, please remember us. We will be remembering you. We know that you will do great things. We want to hear about those things. And you will now be an alumnus of Virginia Commonwealth University. And so please come back. Please keep in contact with us. And please go forth and do the amazing things that you have been trained and that you are now qualified to do. At that moment, would you please stand and we will recite together the Hippocratic Oath. You want to stand, podium members? This is a solemn ceremony of medicine, and so we will recite the oath together. I do solemnly swear by that which I hold most sacred that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine and just and generous to its members, that I will lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor, that into whosoever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick to the utmost of my power. I, holding myself aloof from wrong, from corruption, from the tempting of others to vice, that I will exercise my art solely for the cure of my patients, and will give no drugs, perform no operation for a criminal purpose, even if solicited, far less suggestive. That whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of men and women, which is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep inviolably secret. These things I promise. And in proportions that I am faithful to this my oath, may happiness and good repute be ever mine. The opposite if I shall be forsworn. Please sit down. Thank you, parents, grandparents, in-laws, spouses, and children for sharing this time-honored, simply remarkable and great fun event with us. And thank you all on our podium. We will be exiting the Siegel Center immediately after this ceremony. There's actually another school following us. And so don't take too long or you'll have to sit through another one of these. And so now I'd like to call on Dr. Chris Willibon to give us closing comments. Thank you, Chris.
Please stand and remain standing for a recessional. Go in peace. Speak the truth. Give thanks every day. Respect the earth and her creatures, for they are alive like you. Care for your body. It is a wondrous gift. Live simply. Be of service. Be guided by your faith and not your fear. Go lightly on your path and walk in a sacred manner.